YouTube educators, greetings. My name is Alton McGee, and what I'm about to, the subject matter I'm about to speak on, while it is directed towards educators, I suppose it could apply to any profession, but more so this is directed to educators. As far as I'm concerned, the way I look at it, one thing I've noticed, especially these past few weeks, but all of the years I've been in education, it's getting close to 9 years at this point. When it comes to results, whether those results are viewed in the form of test scores in proficiency, student improvement, discipline problems or lack thereof, respectability among high-performing cohorts. I've noticed that the individuals who put the most time in achieve the most results. And I suppose that could sound cliche, but let me be a little bit more specific. When it comes to lesson planning, I know of one teacher, quite frankly, I had to run the guy out of the building. It's pretty common for an administrator. No, it's not, I'm sorry. Administrators who want results, you'll see them at one point or another at their school late hours. Everyone has a personal life, I understand that, but at one point or another, it's the nature of the business. If you want your school to move forward, and if you're not in a situation where it's kind of going to do that on its own, you're going to have to put some hours in. It happens. With that being said, I know of one teacher, and I guess I'm kind of giving away who it might be, but he wouldn't mind. He's that much of a consummate professional. But I had one teacher, after an event, I'm locking up the doors and I'm heading through the building to make sure everything's secure. And I see a light on in his classroom, and it's him planning lessons. He started the year late, or he was hired, after the school year started, but already has his students on pace with the pacing guide, has a scaffolding system for tiers and levels of learners. Scores are higher than as far as the benchmarks are concerned. He already has his own benchmarking system. We don't have to, I don't have to push him to do that. And this isn't just this one guy. I mean, I know a national board certified teacher at a school you would expect the demographics to not succeed in, or not be as one of those situations where you say, oh, well, these kids can't learn. I've never seen a situation where kids can't learn. I've seen situations where the right people use the right techniques, the right motivations, and the right people skills to get the job done. But the common thing is time. But anyhow, going back to these types of teachers, because I've seen them going all the way back to when I was in the classroom up until now. And I guess this one particular teacher is just a recent example. But the students respond to a well-planned lesson in a different way than they do something that's thrown together, or something from a previous year that another date has been put on for the current year. They can tell how much effort is put into it. They can tell how relevant it is. They can tell how much thought you put into the lesson plan as an educator when you're thinking about those particular kids in the current times. For example, I've seen a science lesson using the ESPN sports science and using famous athletes who the kids are familiar with. I've seen labs where, you use things such as dye in water to show how diseases can be spread, or how germs can be spread, or whatever the case may be. Just the time and the effort put into those lesson plans, the students respond to it and appreciate it. I remember one situation where there was a play that the students are required to read year after year, and the teacher does a big spectacle. As a matter of fact, I kind of pitched in and made it to where it could be a campus-wide thing so they can show off their talents, and it kind of actually turned into a skit slash play in front of the entire school, but the teacher put that effort in and the kids responded. What about administrators? The students respond when administrators go to the extracurricular events, when they show themselves in the community. When you take time out to speak to the students and get to know them and know things about them. I know everything's driven on test scores. I know that's what keeps us employed in this climate of accountability, but taking that extra time to work with those students, to get to know them, to understand certain situations before you act on situations and pass judgment, which, you know, in the case of an administrator, you can make or break anybody on your campus in many situations. Even taking time with your teachers to understand what it is they're doing and why they're doing so. Because every now and then, I mean, not even every now and then, they're the boots on the ground. They see the situations up front. They're around the students more than we are. So taking time to observe their classrooms correctly, but also just find out what their philosophy of learning is. Those things matter. And with your high-performing teachers, when they realize that you understand what they're doing, you're giving them the autonomy to do what they need to do because they're already showing you that they're a high-performing teacher, but you're trusting them and empowering them to do what they need to do. Your high-performing teachers soar. They do extra things for you. They go out of their way. And then you got some that'll just do that anyway. But I've also seen some situations where administrators wouldn't let them spread their wings and fly, and they just shut down, and they kind of maybe wait till a new administration comes, or they just move on next year. They're not there anymore. But even the time that you take as an administrator, it matters. I remember on the movie Lean On Me, one of the key things that Mr. Clark asked his teachers in the middle of a school turnaround situation, it was do or die for them that year. It was either get the scores, achieve a certain level of proficiency on the state test, to be taken over. And one of the key questions he asked in one of his faculty meetings was, how much time do you spend on your lesson plans? We all know teaching is a profession where you end up doing extra duties. You end up doing other things. You end up at football games, at proms, so forth and so on. But the counter argument, and we have to start thinking with a business sense in education. We can't just look at things how we want to see it, but we have to look at it how the world views it. You don't have very many other professions where they get a month or two in the summer, depending on your school district. You get Christmas, and then you get Thanksgiving. I suppose there are some jobs like welding and seasonal type jobs, but that's really arduous work as well. Our work is arduous mentally. I mean, I've been in the classroom. I don't get summers off anymore now as an administrator, but you have to look at it from those perspectives. So yes, we're spending extra time, but I suppose we do get time to recuperate, but nonetheless, it's our job. It is a job. That's what it requires. The teachers and the administrators and school employees who embrace that and just go ahead and just get the job done, you see the results. They don't complain. They hustle. They work hard. And they reap the benefits. But more importantly, the students reap the benefits. So I suppose as I close this video out, a rhetorical question for an educator who wishes to move forward, who wishes to get results, and who wishes to help children, because that's what it's about. In K through 12 education, it's about the children. At least it's supposed to be. It is for me. And it is for many of my teachers, and I thank them for it. But the question is, how much time are you willing to put forth? Are you really trying to achieve excellence? We want excellence from the students, but are those educators who want excellence from the students leading by example? Sometimes you have to ask these tough questions. It's not popular, but again, I'm here for the kids, not necessarily to make anyone feel good. For me, it feels good when my children succeed. So if that offends someone, I suppose I do apologize for you being offended. And it's not my goal here, but my goal is to just spark some self-examination, and just to discuss some things that high quality educators and high performing educators do to get those results. And one of them is carefully planned, carefully timed, well thought out lesson plans, and just putting in the extra time and extra effort overall. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I hope this reaches someone and it helps to improve whatever you may have going on in the classroom or on your school campus somewhere. Have a good day.